Now, just as the title says, today's topic is about hit markers in games, specifically in context of FPS games. First things first, let's go back a bit, way back to the oldest FPS games out there, Doom and Wolfenstein. Sure, they were made by basically the same guys, but even games that followed for several years really didn't have any hit marker features. Pretty much the only way of telling that enemy was dead was to see his bloodied corpse on the ground and teabagging for insurance, or seeing it written in kill feed. I still remember back in the day you had to watch your enemy twitch in pain or hear some scream to confirm that you managed to deal some kind of damage. But time passed on and hit markers as a feature started to appear in more and more games. Now the big question I want to ask, is this feature actually a good thing for these games? See, on one hand you can say that hit markers allow you to see if you are even dealing damage to your enemy, as well as the fact that they are fun to have. On the other hand, you can say that it ruins game's exploratory aspect and it basically is a cheat, since you can spam the wall full of bullets and see if there is anyone to kill on the other side, or just shoot something explosive next to the wall and see if there is someone. Also, from time to time you can hear that hit markers are actually added just to keep players' attention and satisfy that instant gratification itch that many have these days. Well, truth be told, few of my favorite games do not possess hit markers as a feature, and I think they're great. While there are other games that I enjoy with this feature present, for me it's hard to say if this single feature is improving or damaging my gaming experience. But then again, there are so many different games. For example, Half-Life games work wonderfully, and frankly hit markers there would only harm it. While in PlanetSide, where you have soft targets that can be damaged by normal gunfire, and hard targets like tanks that require a little bit more oomph, hit markers are necessary just to see if your weapon can deal damage to your target. Still, in games like Call of Duty, being able to spray some wall and check for enemies I consider to be a blatant cheat. And sadly, to a lesser degree though, the same goes for Counter-Strike 2. Even though in CSGO you only hear sound effect whenever you hit enemies' head, doing so through the wall and getting this info is quite unfair, don't you think? See, as much as I hate armor games, while playing DayZ mod, I love to go up in the tower with my friend and snipe. And since one of us acted as spotter, really the only way we could tell that enemy died was to wait and see his name show up on the kill feed, or see him collapse. And that not always meant that he was dead right away. Funny thing happened when we once shot a dude down. We thought that he was laying there dead. But no, 2 minutes passed and he jumps up and runs away, pissing his pants. Man, the fact that you can play dead and not get discovered even if somebody pops a cap in your ass is pretty fun thing. And yet, as mentioned, if PlanetSide didn't have hit markers, new players would suffer a lot trying to understand why isn't their weapon doing anything after unloading umpteen thousand bullet into base turret. But okay, what about that instant gratification thing I spoke of? Well, think about this. Would Call of Duty or Battlefield or any other game be as much fun without those markers? Sure, it wouldn't take away much from the game, but you would certainly play it way differently. Just think about it for a second. What if? What if hit markers were removed from your favorite game? Would you still play it the same way? But you know, that instant gratification thing was mentioned with a reason, of course. You see, there are players that will shoot anything that will give them hit markers and enjoy it. You can see this quite a lot in Call of Duty, actually. Is it a bad thing? Well, it depends really how you look at it. On one hand, it kinda keeps you hooked on the whole thing. On the other hand, it's just fun. Frankly, my conclusion here is rather simple. For games that have multiple target types that can be damaged with certain tools or weapons, should at least have some sort of way of telling player that his weapon will work against it, because memorizing each combination of what deals damage to what is certainly not the way to go. While in games like Call of Duty, really you have no need for hit markers, and I strongly believe that it's added just to appease those impatient shits. And really there, it's a legitimized version of a cheat, in the sense of the way. So those are sort of my 2 cents on the matter. Do let me know what you think. Do you prefer games without hit markers, or are they necessity for your gaming experience?